Alright guys, so it's 12 PM Saturday night and I'm still at it. Anyway, we're getting so much closer. The turbo's all mocked up, all the lines are fitted, just temporarily. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Here we go, we've got the intake pipe now dummy fitted, just sitting in position. Pretty much to get this pipe going and made, I had to brainstorm and come up with ideas because it's got quite a crazy snake going on there. Well, anyway, ended up buying a 90-degree silicone joiner. Tucked down there is the 90-degree joiner on a 45 stainless steel bend, and I've just cut the straight off from the silicone joiner and used that little piece right there to join the Z32 airflow meter. Yeah, that's all nicely fitted now, just dummy fitted, mind you. So I'm gonna pretty much pull everything off now, and now we're gonna permanently fit the actual lines and line fittings and go for gold and fit this turbo for good. What I actually also had to do, I actually had to change one of the fittings, one of the straight fittings on the other end. I had to change it for this one here with just a little bit more angle, where it actually bolts up from the turbo to the water neck. We're all good to go now. I've test fitted it. That was sort of just one of the last pieces of the puzzle, as well as sorting out this intake pipe. Later on, down the track, I'm gonna make a proper hard stainless pipe with a bunch of pie cuts that I've brought. So in here, got a whole bunch of pie cuts. And I'm going to have a go at making a hard intake pipe from the turbo all the way to the airflow meter. So I've brought what I need. So that'll be another video for another time, guys. And got another 45 there. So I got two 45s. Picked up some filler rods, some stainless steel filler rods. And we're going to get into doing a bit of welding. This is a little bit of a sneak peek for you guys. And over here, of course, most important, we got some gas going on. We're going to be getting after it and getting into the welding. And hopefully we can make some great things. We can make up a nice, beautiful intake pipe. But for now, this is going to do the job. I may just end up heat wrapping the silicone though, just to sort of stop it deteriorating. Now I'm going to take the turbo off. I'm happy with everything there. Let's go. I want to get this turbo on permanently for good. So this is my badass intake pipe that I just made up with a 45-degree 3-inch silicone joiner, which I cut part of the straight off and just a 45-degree, and basically that just fits in beautifully down there and snakes up nicely. And I just used the offcut for the actual airflow meter to attach it to the pipe just there. That's just the offcut material, the part of the straight that I cut off, and it works beautifully. Only thing I might have to do is just heat proof it. But for now, until I can make up a really U-Butte pie cut, Mondrel bent combination thereof, nice hard pipe, intake stainless pipe. That'll just have to do for now. Okay, so we have one of these fittings we're going to permanently fit. I'm choosing to put a bit of Loctite on this. I just want it to seal nicely as well, and that's what Loctite helps do. In the line kit that I brought, it does actually come with the sealing washer, and this will seal fine. But I just like to go the extra mile, and I just want to put a little bit of Loctite on there as well. Alright, let's go. Now it's just a matter of tightening this up. Who doesn't love a nice snap-on 3/8 ratchet? Yeah, boy. So that's all nice and placed now. I've Loctited it, and it's got the sealing washer. It's all done up nice and tight. And now I'm going to take the turbo off. I'm happy with everything there. Let's go. So that's all nice and placed now. I've Loctited it and it's got the sealing washer. It's all done up nice and tight. just about ready for the line to be connected. Before we can do that, we do need to just sort out this oil feed line, and we need to put the restrictor in and do the same pretty much as we did to that fitting before we can fit the lines. Going to leave the oil drain tube till right at the end once the turbo's on completely and bolted up. So this is where the oil feed line plumbs into the turbo. So we've got the fitting for the oil feed line here. That just screws in to the top of the turbocharger cartridge. And we have also, you probably can't see, we've got this tiny little oil restrictor. This little restrictor simply goes in the end of the fitting here, and then your oil line screws in. I like to have these threads seal nicely, and Loctite just provides that. The actual sealing surface is actually inbuilt inside. It's just angled at a set angle, so that is actually a sealing surface, but I just like to be a bit thorough, and like I said, yeah, I just like to put a bit of Loctite as well. And there we have it. We've got the oil fitting now done up nice and tight, and we've got the little oil restrictor in there. Because it is a ball bearing turbo, we want that oil restrictor. Okay guys, so the turbo is all ready to go on now. All the fittings for the turbo itself and the lines are all connected up. It's all oriented, it's all clocked. The only thing left to do now is just to split the manifold though. I need to properly fit now the nuts with the locking tabs, which I have over here. So these locking tabs and also the new nuts. Okay, I've just cleaned the surface of the turbo, the surface of the manifold with brake cleaner, and also the gasket. Just wanted to make it nice and clean. Now I've got a little bit of Hylamar. Now I use this normally with cylinder heads when I go to reseal a cylinder head gasket. Basically, it just fills in any tiny imperfections along the surface. I've found it just helps with extra sealing those surfaces together rather than just going on dry. Although when the manifold is squashed together with the turbo, basically that ring there seals, makes a really tight seal, but we're going to spray it anyway. Just going to carefully spray a little bit. Bit on the manifold. Just want to spray a little on here as well. And then a bit also on the gasket on either side. And you usually just let it dry until it's tacky. This stuff dries pretty quick and it becomes sticky. Once that's dry, we'll then assemble it all and install the locking tabs. We'll assemble it all with these locking tabs, do up the nuts with Loctite, and bend the little tabs over to stop the nut coming loose. You can actually see how it's gone sticky. It's gone matte. That matte colour was shining before. That's all ready now pretty much. Still a little bit wet here, but in a few seconds we'll fit it all, and it'll just give just a little bit of extra sealing capabilities. This stuff's resistant to heat as well. It's great if you just want to make sure that it's gonna get the best sealing possible. You can see now, you can see the color that it's dried. It's like a blue. That's all ready to go back together now. And yeah, that's going to seal really well. This is it guys, the turbo is now permanently going to be mated to the manifold. Now, you know me and Loctite, we're going to put some Loctite on these studs and nuts because I want the best locking potential on these studs and nuts. I've had one of these turbos come loose a couple of times before on my old 180SX. So we're just going to be extra precautious. Along with the locking tabs, we're going to use Loctite as well. Whatever you do though, don't forget these locking tabs. As you can see, I've got plenty of Loctite. These nuts will actually freely spin off. They're not like the nuts I had on before with the pinched end. These are genuine Nissin. They are actually a tough nut. But what's going to hold them in place is really the locking tabs, and that's how it's designed. That's how Nissin designed these. Alright guys, now I've got the nuts securely tightened. I've tightened them up quite some and then a bit more. Careful not to break the studs though, or round the nuts. Now I'm going to just bend those locking tabs. Just going to bend the locking tabs now with a hammer and just a flat blade. Just like so, just get in there and then I'm just going to tap them down securely into place. And there we go, I've bent one of those tabs just as an example, just to show you guys what it should roughly look like. That now, if the nut wants to work its way loose, it's not going to be able to. It's got double, it's got locking tabs, and it's also got Loctite. This is probably the better way to do it. I've just got a nice brass punch I've pulled out and got a nice flat on it, and it's quite soft. There you go, look at that. Okay guys, yes, we are ready to finally put this turbo on. It's only taken me, I don't know how many hours just to get it dialed in, so I'm happy with it. For the best possible result, we're gonna have no leaks, fingers crossed. Alright, take a look for the last time before it goes on. Here we are guys, the brand spanker, new turbo. Garrett GTX 2867R, 0.64 rear exhaust housing, a little bit smaller. We've got our Aeroflow braided lines. They're all perfectly mounted now. All the fittings are Loctited in and have all their sealing washers as well. We have new exhaust nuts going on for the manifold, a new gasket for the oil drain tube. Let's go guys, let's get this turbo on. Okay, so the turbo's on now. So just go on and tighten the nuts up on the exhaust manifold from inside out to 48 Newton meters. And that's all good now, all snug. Turbo is on. Just got to do up those lines. The coolant line to the water neck and the coolant line to the block. And also the oil return line in down there. So just got to tighten that oil line down there, the oil return line into the block, and also the water coolant line just above that. And also at the water neck here, I got to route the line and connect it and tighten all those connections. And then guys, we're just about there, pretty much. Still have the exhaust to put on. I've still got the dump pipe, front pipe to put on. Alright guys, that is it. The turbo is fitted now. Got the back line connected up now to the internal wastegate. That's just going to this manual GFB Atomic for now. Just got to install that intercooler pipe now, as well as the intake pipe, and just tighten it all up. 1.2 note guys, I did have to bend, quite common, I did have to bend the oil dipstick tube, and you notice I actually bent it at a right angle. It used to sit flat out this way. Quite happy with actually how that worked out. And one thing though I did have to do, I had to crack this power steer high pressure line and just clock it. It's not the best, but it does the job for now, until I can maybe do something with this line, or just go to hard lines, or like braided lines I mean. But yeah, overall guys, we are so close and it is coming together nicely.